I'll give another example. We discussed with the leaders in East African community, that is Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Burundi, South Sudan, ourselves, and so on. We have a community with it. I remember I was that time East African community chair. We talked about, we could see a lot of flows of used clothes, second-hand clothes, tons and tons, more in Kenya, more in Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, wherever they were. So I raised an issue in the meeting. I said, and I told some of the countries I know in this community, I said, I know you grow cotton, a lot of cotton is grown in your country, in this country. When are we going to build our textile industries? If we have cotton, but we export it raw, the way it is in its raw form without adding any value to it, and then we import tons and tons and tons of used clothes. So we agreed, and everybody seemed to, they knew, but they were just reminded. And they said, that's the point. So we agreed we are going to actually make it very costly for people to keep pushing used clothes here, so that in the end we develop our textile industries. After a few weeks, in fact, for us, we were not even... So the industry of pushing, they went to these leaders and warned them and said, no, you can't stop.
Who did?
It was from the US.
The US?
Yes.
So they told leaders, you cannot buy this used clothes anymore.
You cannot stop buying from us used clothes or importing them into
Which
your
organization in the US was it?
Maybe you'll come to understand it when I go to the last point.
Okay.
So they say, you must, there's no way you can do without this. So some of the leaders, we had made a decision together, but under pressure differently, leaders gave up that decision to not, and we were also approached, and they were told, you are making a mistake, you can't refuse taking in, otherwise you will be affected. They even warned us that if we insist, we are going to be struck off the beneficiaries of AGOA, African Growth Opportunity Act.
So other aid was going to be crossed off because you don't want this. You didn't want this used clothes that was hurting your textile industry. That was preventing you from building a textile industry. Like, I don't want this. This helps us. This one helps us, but I don't want this one because it doesn't help us. They're like, nope. Either you take this one as well, or we'll stop the good one.
That's exactly what happened. Now, for us, before we realized, all the countries who had agreed to take that decision had already given up, and they were already importing used clothes so that they continue benefiting from United States. In the end, we were left alone. We didn't even know. And that time led us to being struck off the AGOA list. The others remained because they accepted. For us, we were struck off the list of AGOA beneficiaries because of this argument.
That's great. But who makes those decisions? Is it like some junior people in those organizations? They're like, no, we need to keep that up.
I don't know. But we tried to argue back. We sent back messages. We were telling whoever we could reach and say, but this is not fair. Blah, blah, blah. They just ignored us.
Did you talk to anyone? But could you bring it up with someone more higher level up politicians?
Yeah. The ones who are in charge of African desk, State Department, and yeah.
That's crazy.
So that tells you a bit of the story. Yes, that's about aid. It's about
dependence.
Yes.